this week, stripping. Hello. I'm deviating from the regularly scheduled programming to do something different. There is an entire life outside of the clips that I edit together to present to you in this video documentary format. I have done my best to keep the outside world separate from this project, but I cannot any further. I have been struggling for at least the last month, and it has gotten progressively worse. I am taking solid, concrete actions to better myself, and I know, and this is far from my first experience with mental health crises, so I have learned a number of coping mechanisms, and I have resources that I can reach out to for when I feel dire and desperate. There is no way for me to separate my whole life from this tiny sliver of my existence that is this project. Every time I go to pick up a guitar and strum a chord, every word, every lyric, every melody that comes out of my mouth is shaped by my state of mental health. I am at a point where it is far too loud and far too large to ignore. My ability to do any of the things that are necessary in order to produce music, in order to produce videos, is by the grace of a actually very small sliver of time. My productions are ballooning up to the size that it is impossible for me to continue doing what I was doing before into the future. Something has to give. Some kind of corner has to be cut. And since I'm the only person who's responsible for this, then I'm also responsible for setting limits and keeping myself inside of them. So that's what I'm doing. For my song this week, I decided to go to a very stripped down production. The arrangement is very sparse. It's a couple of acoustic guitars and at most 4 voices singing at the same time. As far as the theme and the feeling of this week's song, it came together very quickly. The song itself was born out of some recent conversations that I've had. Talking with other former religious people who can talk about this kind of subject in a way with a kind of familiarity and understanding that unless you grew up that way, it's really actually kind of impossible to fully empathize with. My wife does not truly understand and empathize with why I feel so strongly against organized religion as a whole. She listens to me, and she certainly can hear my reasons for it, but as far as how she feels about it, she does not feel as extreme about it as I do. And honestly, the only reason I feel as extreme about it as I do is because that's how I grew up. The song is something of me pointing to all the people out there, whether they are behind some kind of pulpit, or if they're on top of some sort of throne of power, or at the middle of some sort of social movement. There's always people who are looking to prey on your vulnerabilities to make themselves more important, to get what they want at the expense of your well-being. And I don't do a lot of metaphor in the song. It's all straight and to the point, spiritually in the same ballpark as a Green Day American Idiot era kind of messaging and songwriting. But once again, this entire production is very, very stripped down. There are some direct similarities between this song and Time of Your Life by Green Day. I know Time of Your Life wasn't on American Idiot, but please argue in the comments anyways. Please argue in the comments anyways about how I'm an idiot that doesn't understand my Green Day lore. But don't you dare call me an American idiot, because I'm Canadian. Call me a Canadian idiot. And then apologize to Weird Al on my behalf. Bringing it back to the middle of things again. To quote one of my favorite songs that I've written so far this year, "Don't run away. I'm not running away. I am going to continue, but it's going to be some growing and learning on how to balance my needs for producing this with the rest of my life. Because right now, I am lacking balance. If I don't find it, there's no way I'm going to be able to produce anything at all. If I can say one other thing and be dead serious, and I'm sorry if I'm bumming you out. If you are in any kind of a crisis and you feel like you are alone, it's cliche, and I know you've heard it before, but you're not. Everybody feels like their pain is special and significant. And it is. But that doesn't mean that there aren't a lot of people who understand and who feel that and would be happy to distract you from your problems with problems of their own. Because the wonderful thing about other people's problems is they are always so much more simple than your own. So, here's a little bit of my problem. You're not responsible for it. And I don't need you to make this better for me. That's my responsibility. Thank you. And I love you guys.